Did you ever come to a place in your life and ask, how in the world did I get here? It's actually a common experience. It's a moment of realizing that you're not where you intended to be, that maybe you're not doing what you intended to do, or maybe even that you're not the person you intended to be. Well, there are a lot of reasons that this can happen, but a key one is drift. We simply drift from our goals, from our values, from our beliefs, from our intentions. And it's really important to realize that it's not that we've made a conscious decision to change course. What's happened is that little by little, in small increments, we've just gotten off track. We've begun to drift. And what's really scary about drifting is that most of the time when it's happening to us, we don't even recognize it. And that's because each little move that we've made is so small, so insignificant that we didn't even notice it. At least not until one day when the cumulative effect of all those moves suddenly becomes apparent to us, and we look up and realize that we are far off course and ask that question: how did I get here? Well, drift is a problem not just in life, but also in faith. It's often the reason that we don't grow spiritually in the way that we intended to grow. It's frequently the reason that we end up doing things that are contrary to our faith. It's a reason a lot of people stop coming to church or leave the faith altogether. I hear people talk about it all the time. They say, well, we just got busy and we stopped going to church, and then somehow we never got back. And that's a key issue when it comes to drift too, because sometimes when we drift far enough that we never get back to the place we intended to go. And it's a scary thought, because the reality is that we could be drifting right now and not even be aware of it. So how can we guard against drifting? Well, Hebrews 2:1 says this. It says, we must pay careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. And what I think the author is basically saying here is that we need to be proactive about our faith. Because if you think about it, drift is passive. It's what happens when we are distracted, when we are not paying attention, when we're not putting the effort into our faith that we should, when we're not being proactive. But the other side of it is that if we are paying attention, if we are being proactive, if we are really seeking to put the effort into living our faith and growing spiritually, we're actually kind of unlikely to drift. So what about you? Is it possible that you've begun to drift in some way? And what is it that you're doing to be proactive in order to guard against drifting? I want to close with one bonus that comes with being proactive. Because being proactive in our faith not only makes it a lot less likely that we're going to drift away, but it also makes it a lot more likely that we are going to excel into a deep and rich faith and relationship with Jesus. And that is a great goal.